Haley, what is our second main topic today?
Second main topic comes to us from Ulysses Everett McGill. Hey, John and crew, I just saw Marvel's Blade has finally secured director after the seemingly abrupt departure of Bassam Tariq. It was abrupt to fans. I'm sure it was brewing at Marvel for a hot minute. The new director is Yann Demange, who directed the first episode of Lovecraft Country, as well as 2 feature films. One of them got mixed reviews, one of them got outstanding reviews. I'll refer to one of them to the Russo Brothers and their cinematic masterpiece, You, Me, and Dupree, to assuage any concerns. Marvel also hired Michael Starrbury, the Emmy-nominated writer of arguably the best episode of When They See Us, to pen the script. It's good to know this thing isn't dead in the water. Thoughts? John, what do you think about this director choice?
You know, it's interesting. First of all, it's fantastic to hear that the Blade project isn't dead. Because before yesterday, I wasn't 100% sure that this Blade movie was even still going to happen. So that's good news that it's moving ahead, it's moving forward. Now, as far as the director goes, yeah, not a wealth of experience, but again, directed the pilot, and this is important, directed the pilot episode of Lovecraft Country. That is key in television and in series because the first one, you often bring in your biggest guns to direct the pilot in the first couple of episodes because that sets the tone for the entire series that all the other directors that come after you need to follow and kind of fall in line with. And so again, and what he did with the premiere episode of Lovecraft Country, I almost fell off the show after the second episode, but I loved the first episode and it was incredible. Now, he's also done 2 notable things. One is White Boy Rick. I think that's an underrated movie. Yeah, Matthew McConaughey, Brian Tyree Hill. I didn't think it was one of the top 10 movies of the year that it came out or anything like that, but I thought it was a really solid movie. I thought Matthew McConaughey was great, and I thought that was a well-directed movie. The other one that he got like 2 BAFTA nominations for was for his film 71. And again, 2 BAFTA nominations. I think he's got like 7 or 8 in total overall. So when you actually sit back and look at that, that's not bad. And of course, and so he's that. You got an Emmy-nominated writer coming in to do a script. What is really interesting, though, is that they're calling it a page 1 rewrite. This comes to us from the folks over at the Hollywood Reporter, who said the following. Yann Demange, who directed the pilot for HBO's boundary-pushing horror series Lovecraft Country, has come aboard to helm the vampire action thriller that still has Mahershala Ali attached to star. Meanwhile, Michael Starrbury, who earned an Emmy nomination for penning an episode of Ava DuVernay's drama When They See Us, has been hired to pen a brand new script for the feature. Rather than jamming another director in something that clearly needed an overhaul, Marvel pressed pause for a deeper look under the hood. That meant a page 1 rewrite for the project, which had labored in the screenwriting phase. Mahershala Ali is said to have personally been involved in selecting the writer. So this isn't all right, let's pick things back up again. This is they threw everything out the window. That's how bad of a state this project was in. They literally just threw everything out the window and said, we're starting from scratch. So Mahershala Ali, I believe, is going to turn 67 years old when this movie comes out. At this point, it's taking a while. So look, overall, am I super familiar with the work that he brings, that Yann brings? Well, no, other than, White Boy Rick, the Lovecraft Country, not a huge sample size, but I like what I've seen. And if he's come in there and given a pitch for a certain idea and vision and approach he wants to take to it and has won them over, great. Like you brought up in your email, this is the same studio that hired the directors of You, Me, and Dupree. And that turned out to be a pretty good decision nonetheless. So I like what I'm seeing. I'm just more excited that the Blade project is still ongoing. Anyway, Rob, you hear about this. What are your thoughts about the new director and writer?
Well, it's curious to me that I don't know if Marvel's ever done this before, like completely gone back to the drawing board and started from scratch. I like the fact they've done it. I like the fact that why move forward unless you're 100%. Obviously, they found, just like with James Gunn, he makes a Slither, he makes a Super, and Kevin Feige, You, Me, and Dupree can say these people know how to tell stories. And he's looked at their television work. That's the Russo Brothers had television work as well.
Yep.
And I thought Lovecraft Country, especially like that first episode, that's a great show. So it all makes sense. And the fact that Mahershala Ali probably put in a good word for the screenwriter, everybody's kind of on the same page, because I don't think anybody wants to see this movie succeed more than Mahershala Ali does. because who doesn't want to play?
Well, he's got, what, 3 years invested in this already?
Yeah, but he's got Oscars. It's like, I want to play a Vampire Slayer, man. I want to play the Daywalker. I can see that he's probably going, it was really cool playing Cottonmouth or whatever on
Luke Cage.
Luke Cage. I mean, who wouldn't? This is a childhood fantasy made flesh. You're wearing awesome leather armor, and you got a cape on that's made. I mean, I can only imagine that who would want to do that. So clearly, and I want to see this movie. I'm just happy this movie's getting made. I think it's going to kick ass. I think Mahershala Ali's going to crush it, and I want a hot toy of him already. It's going to be great.
Cliff, what do you think about the additions?
Well, I think there's kind of a bigger, more obvious story that's happening here, which is I have a friend that works with Marvel, and we talked recently about kind of Phase 4, and I think everybody sort of generally agrees that Phase 4 hasn't been all that strong.
Wasn't their strongest phase.
Wasn't their strongest.
No.
But the reason for that is because Kevin Feige and Kevin Feige knew this was stretched incredibly thin. I mean, when you think about like 2019, where they had Endgame and Captain Marvel, and he had Spider-Man he was involved with, there was an infinite, or finite amount of content they were producing. Then you move into like the Disney Plus era, where they're producing shows and movies, and all these things are happening.
And now these one-shot specials too.
Really overextended. And to me, what happened with Blade is this is the moment you see Kevin Feige coming back to say, all right, hang on, let's clear everything out, and going back to the way he did things before, which was to be more personally involved, more hands-on with the filmmakers that he was working with, and that when the previous director leaves over creative differences, and they're just like, we're going to start over from scratch. That to me was Kevin Feige. It was very obvious Kevin Feige saying, this is not the direction that the MCU is taking. We are going to start over with a whole new director that I am now going to be very personally involved with, so that I can maintain the quality, because everybody, because Phase 4 was sort of a disappointment overall. And so, I'm excited about this just from what it says about Kevin Feige's involvement and the fact that they're starting from scratch. So, they're going into it not compromised, not like, well, we had a script, but it was kind of okay. We'll fix it, or we'll tweak it, or barreling down towards this arbitrary production start that they don't really need to do, and just saying, yeah, we'll push production for 6 months or a year while we fix this and start over and do a page one rewrite. And when you've seen him do that, it's because he wants to maintain that quality control over the universe that I think he let sort of slip away with all the Hawkeyes and Lokis and everything that he was producing all simultaneously. So I think this is a good sign, just in terms of knowing that there's now a steady hand back on the universe as a whole. And Blade is sort of the first indication that that's happening for real.
All right, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this Blade? I know there were some doubts going on about whether this would still happen or whether Mahershala Ali would even stay on it, but it looks like he's still staying on. They're going back to square one. They're writing a brand new script. How do you feel about this? What do you think about the writer and the director they've got attached? Whatever you guys are thinking, jump down to the comment section below and leave your thoughts there. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of this video, DraftKings. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, should be your go-to when betting on the NFL this holiday season. With things like same-game parlays, easy and fast payouts, player props, and more. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 on any NFL team to win their game and get $150 in free bets if they do. And check this out. Right now, everyone can earn up to a 100% boost with DraftKings stepped-up same-game parlays. Just go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app, place a same-game parlay, and combine multiple bets like which team will win, player props, total points, and more. The more legs you add, the bigger bigger the boost, the bigger your shot to win big. Personally, I like the Rams to pull off a big upset win over the Chiefs next weekend. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use the code Campea. Place a $5 bet on any NFL team to win their game and get $150 in free bets if they do. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with the code Campea. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details.